Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NFL, where the hits are hard and the players are tougher. But sometimes things can take a terrifying turn. In this episode, we're taking a closer look at some of the NFL players who cheated death on the field. From cardiac arrest to spinal cord injuries, these players' lives were changed forever. Let's start with the time one of our favorites went through something super traumatizing. Wow, can you imagine how different the NFL landscape would be today if something terrible had happened to one of the most promising quarterbacks in the league, Patrick Mahomes? In 2018, Mahomes was a rookie quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, and his first year was already full of promises and potential. But what many people don't know is that Mahomes was reportedly robbed at gunpoint in Smith County, Texas. Mahomes and 3 other individuals claimed that they were robbed after they got out of their vehicles in a driveway. Suddenly, they were approached by a car carrying 2 men, with one of the men gesturing as though he had a gun and demanding that they hand over their belongings. Imagine how terrifying and shocking that must have been for Mahomes and his companions. Thankfully, the authorities were able to arrest the 2 suspects, but not all players were as lucky as Mahomes to go unscathed. For instance, Ryan Shazier went through something that almost ended his life and completely finished his career. Do you know what's crazier than a fierce linebacker on a dominant defense? One who rises from the ashes after a devastating injury that should have ended his career. Ryan Shazier was on his way to becoming another legend for the Pittsburgh Steelers, having already been selected for consecutive Pro Bowls. In 2017, his world turned upside down when he suffered a brutal head-on collision that left him partially paralyzed on the field. It seemed like his days of football were over, and he was told he may never walk again. But Shazier is not your average player, and he proved that theory wrong by doing what many thought was impossible. After several surgeries and a determined recovery program, he took his first steps again, shocking everyone who witnessed his incredible comeback. Although he would never play in another game, his perseverance and strength are a true inspiration for everyone, on and off the field. Steel City will never forget Ryan Shazier's bravery and heart. There's another star player like Ryan who found himself facing the Grim Reaper while in a car crash. Yup, I'm talking about Cam Newton. It was December 9th, 2014, a Tuesday, and the Carolina Panthers had the day off. But that didn't stop their star quarterback Cam Newton from driving his Dodge pickup truck to work on his day off to watch some game film. The team had just ended the 6-game losing streak with a big win in New Orleans, and Cam was feeling good after throwing 3 touchdown passes. But then, as he approached the corner of South Church Street and West Hill Street, an intersection with no traffic lights, things took a terrifying turn. Another vehicle suddenly pulled out in front of Cam, causing a collision that set his truck flipping over several times. Reports say the vehicle finally came to a rest on its roof in the middle of Church Street. If you've seen the pictures of his car, you'd be sure that he would have died on the spot, but somehow fate took mercy on him and he walked away. Phew, close call. Next we have another collision, but not of cars. Nope, it was actually on the field with other players. Kevin Everett was living the dream as a tight end and special team star for the Buffalo Bills until a freak accident turned his world upside down. It was the first game of the 2007 season, and Kevin was in pursuit of the opposing kick returner when disaster struck. He suffered a devastating neck and spinal cord injury that left him completely motionless on the field. Talk about a nightmare. Kevin was rushed to the hospital for emergency cervical spine surgery and was told he may never walk again, let alone play football. But in a true show of grit and determination, Kevin defied the odds and overcame the paralysis. He eventually regained the ability to walk, but his football career was over. It's a heartbreaking story, but also one of hope and perseverance. Similar to Kevin, Reggie Brown also ended up motionless on the field. The former Detroit Lions linebacker was known for his impressive skills on the field. However, his career came to a tragic halt when he suffered a paralyzing spinal cord injury during a game. Talk about a game changer. Brown was in the middle of making a tackle when it happened, and he was left motionless on the field. The injury was so severe that he couldn't even breathe on his own and had to receive CPR on the field. Can you believe it? It's a miracle that he survived, and he'll never be able to play football again. Despite his career being cut short, Brown will always be remembered for his talent and contribution to the game. But did you know Brown isn't the only one who had to stop his career because of a near-death experience? The legend Chris Spielman went through the same thing. Imagine you're Chris Spielman and you're ready to prove yourself on the field. You're playing a preseason game and everything is going great. But then, out of nowhere, you feel a crushing impact to your neck that leaves you completely paralyzed on the field. Yeah, that's what happened to Chris. Spielman was one of the best linebackers in the NFL, a 3-time All-Pro who was feared by opponents. But that helmet-to-helmet hit changed everything. Despite being paralyzed on the field for several minutes, he miraculously managed to walk off under his own power. But that was it for his NFL career. The injury was just too much to come back from. It's a shock to the system to see such a great player taken out so suddenly, but that's the harsh reality of football. Chris Spielman may not have been able to continue his NFL career, but this legend lives on. Ricardo Lockett faced the same fate. On a fateful day in 2015, Ricardo Lockett, a wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks, took a hit that would leave him immobilized and change his life forever. While covering a punt, Lockett took a clean hit from Jeff Heath of the Dallas Cowboys that sent him crashing to the field. Emergency personnel had to carry him off the field, and it was later revealed that he had sustained a career-ending neck ligament injury. But despite the devastating injury, Lockett remained conscious and even managed to give a Legion of Boom signal to show solidarity with his team. He was one tough dude. Despite the Seahawks initially announcing it as a season-ending injury, Lockett would retire from the NFL months later, citing the damage he had suffered as the main reason. It just goes to show you that sometimes the toughest hits can have the most life-changing consequences. Another player who had his dream shattered was Eric Legrand. The star had dreams of playing professional football and was on his way to achieving them as a standout defensive tackle for Rutgers University. But on October 16, 2010, his life changed forever. During a game against Army, Legrand suffered a severe spinal cord injury while making a tackle that left him completely paralyzed from the neck down. He was rushed to the hospital where doctors told him he had a 0 to 5% chance of ever regaining movement below his neck. Did you hear that? 0 to 5% chance! Despite being unable to walk, Legrand had become a motivational speaker, a sports analyst, and an advocate for spinal cord injury research, proving that he's a true champion both on and off the field. This next one happened right in front of our eyes just recently. Damar Hamlin. Picture this: Monday Night Football, millions of viewers tuned in, and suddenly the game is stopped mid-play. Why? Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest after tackling Cincinnati Bengals receiver T. Higgins. It was a hit that seemed routine, but quickly turned into a life-threatening situation. The hit caused Hamlin to go down hard, and he was motionless for 19 agonizing minutes while medical staff rushed to his aid. Reports even say that they had to use an automated external defibrillator, AED, and perform CPR to keep him alive. It was a frightening moment that caused the NFL to suspend the game, and all eyes were on Hamlin's condition. Fortunately, he was stabilized and taken to the hospital for further treatment. This incident shows how quickly things can take a turn in a football game and how dangerous it can be for players who put their bodies on the line every time they step onto the field. And finally, this next player had to be escorted away because of injuries to his neck. Let's talk about Savion Smith. In a shocking turn of events during an NFL match between the Detroit Lions and the New England Patriots, cornerback Savion Smith suffered a neck injury that left him withering in pain on the field. Medics rushed to his aid, and they had to even bring out a stabilizing board to immobilize him before loading him onto an ambulance. The incident was so serious that Smith's dad was called down from the stands to be by his side during the evaluation at the hospital. It's a wonder how minimal contact with Patriots tight end Henry Hunter could lead to such a severe injury, leaving everyone baffled by the suddenness and severity of the situation. So which of these do you think was the worst? Comment down below and let us know.